Hi, everyone. This is Rabbi Jill, and I am here to talk to you about a really fun project that we're going to do in Hineni this month. And it relates to kind of placing yourself in a large context. So, as you know, we are right now in this third stage of our journey, which is called joining the journey. Oh, I went the wrong way. Okay, this is weird. It's the one about joining the journey. Okay. So this section is all about the idea of journey. So it's not about so much the destination, but about the process. And we're going to be studying texts about journey, both in a Jewish context as well as kind of universal context. And what I really hope for you is that you're going to be able to put your own life journey in this larger context. So I've got an assignment for you. Or a project, whatever you want to call it, for you to do, hopefully, before we meet in our live session next Tuesday. And even if you are not able to come next Tuesday, I hope that you will do this project right now. So let me tell you what you're going to need for this project, because it's going to require that you gather some materials, okay? The whole idea of this project is for you to draw out a map of your own journey, your own spiritual life journey. I'm going to explain that more. You'll see what I mean when I get to the questions. But first, let me tell you what you're going to need, okay? Number one, you're going to need a big piece of paper. So either like a big piece of construction paper, or like one example is I have here a really large graph paper. You could use, if you have a chart pad paper, if you access to that, I mean, you want it to be large enough that because you're going to be able to draw on it. So that's number one, you want a large piece of paper. The next thing that you're going to need to gather are a bunch of different either colored pencils or colored markers, or let me see, I don't have a marker here, but some thin markers I think are best. So you're going to want to get those. Number three, what you're going to need is to print out the PDF that I've put in this email where this video is. I'm also going to put it in the Facebook group, and it's called Spiritual Life Map, okay? It's going to look like this. This is so, all right, Spiritual Life Map. So those are the things that you're going to need. In addition to, you're going to need to carve out a period of time where you can be by yourself, not distracted by anything else. And I'm thinking maybe like an hour and a half, whatever it is that you can devote to this. And hopefully that you can be by yourself. And if not, just carve out this space and ask to not be disturbed. You might want to set some music up if you like working to music. But I want you to set that up, and please put it in your calendar. So if you're going to do it this weekend, make sure that you say, okay, on Sunday at 1 o'clock, make an appointment with yourself to do this. So that's what you're going to need. And I'm going to now go over with you some of the questions that you're going to find on this spiritual life map. So, looking for my glasses. This is about your spiritual path. I'm inviting you to think about what are the things that have contributed to your spiritual development, your beliefs, your values, life lessons, practices, anything that is relevant. Could be places that you've lived, major milestones, people who you've met, and there's a whole bunch of different questions, which I'm going to get to. And the questions are basically to spark your memories. There may be a question that you don't relate to, no problem. So I want you to be able to see your life journey up until this moment and what has contributed to where you are right now. And I am thinking especially about the spiritual aspects of your life journey. So for example, some of the questions are, well, let me say, you're going to first draw a line. Doesn't have to be a straight line. It could be, but you're going to start with your birth, which is one point is where you were born. Okay, so make the date. And then here are the questions that are going to inform your drawing out your spiritual life journey, really. So what life events stand out as spiritually significant? Milestones, ceremonies, rituals, important moments. Could be your bat mitzvah or your bar mitzvah or your child's. Could be something like when you would go to synagogue with your grandparents. Just what are things that have contributed to your own spiritual, not just development, but your growth, your way of thinking. Spiritually meaningful people or books or experiences or teachings or communities. So you know from watching the interview I did with Rabbi Larry Kushner, I would put that on my life map because my life kind of bifurcated upon meeting him. And so I was launched in a particular way, but I also learned things about myself spiritually that I didn't know before. So people that have contributed to your own spiritual growth. Were there retreats, classes, events, connection times perhaps of spiritual intuition? I know that I have a friend who would hike in the mountains, and in doing so, she had a number of really spiritually significant moments by herself doing that hiking. So that would go on there. Another question is, when have you been most awake in the way that we've talked about being awake? What experiences have you had along the way that have led you to a connection or a feeling of something bigger, feeling of God or the divine, or whatever you want to call that? When perhaps have you hidden? Have you stepped back and then re-emerged, and that experience ended up helping you become more aware spiritually? When and where did you hear a still small voice? When, where, with whom did you listen deeply? If you have other questions that you think other people would benefit from, please write them in the Facebook group or send them to me, and I'll be sure to send out a collection of questions that I got. Those are questions that I thought of that would help you. And so ultimately what you're going to do is that you're going to end up with a map that you start with one location where you were born, and you're going to draw stuff and write stuff, and here is going to be where you are right now. okay? And then you're going to be able to look at the whole map and see, like, make it visual. So if something was really important, make that pretty big. If something was smaller, significant, you can make that small. So there is no right or wrong. This is a creative process, a creative project. And you don't have to be super creative, however you want to do it. I think I said this before, it doesn't have to be a straight line. It could be circular, whatever moves you, which is why I want you to carve out time and sit with these questions. Maybe you want to write the questions first, write to the questions, and then put it on a map. At our next session, I would like us to talk about what you learned from doing this map. And so the next session will be interactive, all right? I would love to hear from you about how this process works for you, or if you have any questions about it, please write me. Anything that comes up for you. So I hope this is helpful. I am so excited. We've never done this in Hineni before. I have done this with, many people in live groups, okay? And it's always been just a profound experience. So I'm hoping that it will be like that for you, even if we're not meeting in the same room together. So good luck, get your materials together. I'm gonna repeat this in the email that I send to you. So I will see you soon. Bye.